Hey, what's going on, my friends? Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Victor, and today I'm going to share with you 5 things I think you should know about the full moon, October 24th, 2023. Number 1, I wrote down creating sustainable awesomeness. What I mean by that is sometimes we're given a glimpse of where our life could be, how we could feel. It could be a glimpse of your own spiritual potential, a state of consciousness you find yourself naturally finding. It could be a clarity around where you want to go in life, a new direction, your purpose, etc. And then all of a sudden, what many people find is that this little glimpse of awesomeness, it goes away. Not any differently than the sun. Right now, it's cloudy outside in my neighborhood, but the sun's still there. This potential's still there, but oftentimes we will temporarily fall from grace so that we can get back there, but in a sustainable way. And it's a blessing. We're shown where we could be. We're shown our potential in terms of how we are, how we feel, how we show up in the world, and also what our entire life, our relationships, our career, our finances, all of that, what it could look like. And in these elevated states, you are seeing things very clearly. Even if right now you can't get back there and you're starting to doubt yourself and wonder, was I just... the mind can quickly forget. But in those states of elevated consciousness, in that frequency, you're seeing things clearly. And what's happening now is you need to make it sustainable. And all that really means is that there's probably things going on in your life right now that are taking up too much time, requiring too much energy, too much bandwidth, preventing you from having the freedom to kind of live this life you want to live or feel good. Maybe you're just too busy to even feel good, feel happy, feel at peace, feel content. Along with that awareness of the things in your life that may need to go, honestly, there's oftentimes usually a heightened sensitivity to some of the baggage, honestly, that you have in your consciousness, unresolved issues, knots of old energy that are also, if not looked at and released, would prevent you from getting back there in a sustainable way to that awesomeness, to this new life you're building towards, whether you feel like you are or not, you are. So it can be very disappointing and very, very discouraging when this happens. In fact, I just talked about it in my coaching group a few minutes ago. It reminds me of this book I read by Oddo. He's a real well-known spiritual teacher. And he talks about the awakening process, basically. And he has this chapter called I Got It, I Lost It. And it's exactly what we're talking about here. I got it. I know who I want to be. I know where I want to go. And God, by God, I feel it. I know it's possible. This resonates. This feels true. It's gone. Not only is it gone, but I'm finding an amplification of all the things in my life that I don't like. The people, the situations, the feelings, I'm being blasted with it. I can't see. It's too cloudy. I've lost sight of where I want to go, of that feeling, that high. But it's still there, my friends, and now is the time to really look around and clear the space and to make the changes you need to make. And we're going to get deeper into that, into the reading, but I wanted to explain this fundamental process, and here's why. Because so many people, they question themselves as if you did something wrong. What happened? I lost it. I lost this feeling, I lost this idea, I lost this clarity, I lost this sense of purpose, this sense of optimism. What have I done wrong? What am I doing wrong? Nothing. You're not doing anything wrong. This is part of the process of making it sustainable. Just like one of these clients of mine, Joe, a wise cat, he mentioned The Alchemist. There's this line in the book, the book The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. It's an amazing book about the spiritual journey if you haven't read it. And there's this line that has always stuck with me, and I'm going to paraphrase it, but it goes something along the lines of this. It says, at the beginning of the journey, most seekers are given beginner's luck. This glimpse, this grace, right? But towards the end, the victors will be severely tested. Meaning, you get enough of an awareness of where you could be in yourself and in your life, and now it's time to do the work. Now it's time to make the changes. Now it's time to make it sustainable. And oftentimes, if you want to add fuel to the fire, I've already kind of explained here, amidst that sometimes we're provoked with unique and highly frustrating challenges, random curveballs of problems to help us cultivate the qualities, the attributes, the faith, the confidence, whatever we need more of to build within ourselves. You'll attract all the pain in the ass problems. You need to do exactly that. And the outcome is you get to finally live that life that you dreamt of maybe last week, but you get to do it in a sustainable way. And you'll be able to do it in a way where you get to actually enjoy it. You won't run the risk of sabotaging it unconsciously because you've done the work, both outer and inner. And number two, one of the things we do as seekers, you could say, to help us do what I just said, is go through old patterns, but with new awareness. So sometimes it's quite depressing to fall from grace, as I mentioned, and it's easy to get down on yourself and overwhelmed by all the things going on in your life, also your old feelings, and sometimes this agitation leads us to say, screw it, where's go in the freezer and grab that ice cream? Maybe you've been clean from binging out on ice cream for months and fuck it, where's the ice cream? We go back to these old patterns, these old habits, these old cycles, sometimes not even obvious. It could even be beyond just like a simple habit or like escaping coping mechanism, like eating too much junk food or drinking too much alcohol. It could be some other like self-sabotaging thing that we do. Like for example, for me, what's happening is I had my glimpse a few weeks ago, and that's to commit to YouTube more. And what I found as I've done so is that I have this imbalance with my relationship with YouTube that's been tripping me up this entire time. And I've been playing it out. And for me specifically, if you're curious, I tend to like resist it being on YouTube and for my own fear and so forth. And then I'll get these little glimpses and then I'll allow myself to make videos. But because I've been like holding back for so long, I come out of the gates with such intensity and I'll make a million videos and then I'll burn out. And then I'll say, yeah, this is why I don't do YouTube. And I just repeat this sort of cycle. I've yet to find this moderate forward-moving pace, but I'm working on it. I've been driving myself bonkers this last couple weeks, quite honestly. Feeling burnt out at times due to my own overzealousness, but the difference is now I'm aware of this. I'm watching myself do it, seeing, oh, this is the problem, Vic. I don't have the answer yet, but I'm slowly learning it, as I'm sure you are as well. But again, there's a tendency to beat ourselves up. Oh my God, I've relapsed, I've regressed, look at me. No, that way of thinking never ever serves you. Within this awakening process, a little tangent here, you'll have to bear with me, support yourself. Understand it's not easy to elevate your consciousness. It sounds like this nice thing. It's elevate your awareness. It is not easy. It takes the constant willingness to look at yourself, to look at the parts of yourself that you've been hiding from, the parts of yourself that most people, they won't even peek at. And you summon it up so you can learn from it, deal with it, play it out, battle it, and it's not easy. So when you go through these ups and downs, I got it, I lost it, as you're going back through old patterns though with new awareness, support yourself. Say, good job, Vic. You're doing it, man. Keep at it. You got this. Don't listen to what they're saying. Don't listen to the monkey mind. We are here. Who's we? I don't know. It's a conscious self-pep talk. I learned from Tony Robbins. It's a good idea and it served me very well. I wanted just to share that before moving on to point number 3. And number 3, no means yes. You might find in order to reach your dreams, in order to feel balanced and at peace in yourself and in your life, that you must start to say no to things you don't want to do, to the things you do because you feel guilty or because you feel obligated or because it's what the old you would have done or you don't want to let anybody down. The more you go through this awakening process, the more not only self-aware you become, the more aware of, I would say, the balance of you in life become. Like you become aware of your place in the world. And it's not always our place to do it all. I get people all the time reaching out to me saying, Vic, man, have you heard about this particular issue? I'm starting this movement. I want you to be a part of it. And I've learned over the years to be like, no, not because I don't care about their cause, but I know my lane. This, what I'm doing right here, this is my best way to help the collective, to help. And if I'm saying yes to everything out of guilt, then you're going to get a small little fraction of Vic in each and every video. You're going to see it. You're going to see I'm depleted. He's overworked. He's busy. So saying no is hard to do, though. That's the problem. Many of us don't want to say no. Many of us are sensitive. We're very empathic. We can anticipate other people's reaction. We know they're not going to like it. We know we're going to feel in our own body them not liking it. So just to spare us of all of that drama, we say, okay, sure. And then when it comes time, we're kicking ourselves. Saying no is like, no, Lucas, my son, I'm not playing basketball with you for the third time in a row. Daddy's tired, he needs to go rest. No, honey, I need my time. I got to finish working. No, I won't help you move. And it's like, no, is Victor just this asshole? No, I say yes to plenty of things, but I always check in with myself. And this is something I'm learning. I don't want to come off like I'm perfect. It's a lesson I'm learning right now. But certain things I have improved with. But anyway, it's about checking in with yourself. What do you think? Does this feel balanced to you? It's a new way of going through life that allows us to sort of like create and maintain not just balance, but a full enough of a gas tank to pursue the things you want to do in life. So I know one of the things I found is because I would say yes to too many things, I wouldn't have the energy to do the things I felt called to do. And it was frustrating. And for a while, I was in this victim mentality, like, oh, this is kind of like cruel to wave this carrot in front of my face of this potential life, but I have no way of doing it because I'm too bogged down, I'm too busy. But I realized that I was allowing myself to become too busy. And even though it can be kind of a transition, it can take time to slowly close out old loops, close those old chapters, finish up whatever project you are committed to because you said you got to do it. And slowly but surely you can start to reclaim one of the most precious resources you'll ever have as a human being, and that is your time. And the more we say no, the more time we gain, the more room and space we allow for the new to come in, the more energy we have to carry it out, etc. But it does require saying no. It does require going into the tension, because sometimes saying no creates this tense experience. But I can tell you from my own experience, and I'm pretty like a people pleaser, sensitive, empathic type of dude. And if I can get used to it, I know you can as well. It's something you can just kind of get used to. And then in the end, everybody wins. Number 4, taking your time because you are enough. One of the core reasons I see within myself and also other people as a driving factor why we force to get to this future result is because we don't feel like we're enough already. And history is full of sort of intense examples of this, like Napoleon, Alexander the Great. They were overtaken by their ambition to be the best, to conquer, to be more. And you see what an amplified version of that energy results. Napoleon died on one of his islands alone, as an example, with the unspeakable wreckage and wake of death and so forth that came from this like crazy racehorse towards something because I'm lacking type of mentality. Now, most of us have much smaller versions of that. You know, in the past, one of the things I used to do is I would work out too hard in the gym. As an example, I would like ignore my body's signals saying, okay, you've had enough. It's time to take a break. You need a day off. But because I didn't feel enough on a very deep unconscious level, I would just train anyway, and I would burn myself out. And I would get too sore, or I would injure myself mildly, or something would happen. I would screw up with screw my progress up, because that is what was driving me, the need to be enough. And if you can become aware of this, a lot of times that's like the missing link. Because ironically, it's a hard thing for people to drop. A big way people play this out is with their love life, where they really want a partner. They really want to meet their soulmate. They really want to meet their twin flame, whatever it is. And this really wanting type of energy keeps continuing to attract the wrong people, or these certain archetypes of people. And it's because they're hoping to feel secure within themselves through another person, through a relationship. And then ironically, and I saw my good friend of mine play this exact thing out, and luckily he was aware of it, where he kept doing this. And then he said, you know what, I realized I just keep attracting the same type of relationship outcome. I'm gonna stop trying. He deleted the dating apps, he stopped caring about it, he stopped thinking about it, and before you know it, partners were just flocking to him. It was crazy, but because he didn't need it. And ironically, with my workout scenario, once I stopped needing to be bigger, I'm able to make gains in the gym pretty easily, pretty casually, without forcing anything. But it's the slow and steady. We know this. We know slow and steady wins the race. But when it's something we really are attached to, it's hard to go slow if we don't see what's driving the horse in the first place. It's easy to rationalize why we want something so much, or it's important. But if you really can be honest with yourself, you'll realize there's other reasons that are driving you. And if you can look at that, if you can look at that lack, if you can look at that void, if you could summon up to the surface that wounded inner child part of you running the show in this area of your life, and say, what is really the matter, little Vic? What are you running from? What are you running towards? Why are you running in the first place? It's not a race. And then you can have like a healing experience when you use this awareness to pinpoint the origin of that imbalance, and finally start to address the elephant in the room. The elephant in the room is, I don't think I am enough. And it's painful. No one wants to look at that. Who does? Who wants to sit with that? Yuck. And that's the key. That's the key to all the balance we want, all the time, all the energy, the happiness, is to look. And what I've found, I've not gotten rid of this pain body of mine, but as I've worked at it and have chipped away at it over the years, what I find is underneath that pain, it's like me. It's like the real me. Happiness, peace, awareness, love underneath. But we have to go looking. We have to go digging. We have to stop racing around in circles, avoiding those very feelings driving the horse in the first place. And number 5, just something I want to kind of put out there. I know generally speaking, what I'm trying to say here is you may have more clarity of where you want to go. You may have received a glimpse of it, and now you find yourself disconnected big time from it, with a lot to do, a lot coming up, and maybe what you might perceive to be a longer transitional period than you would prefer. And from all that, we can get overwhelmed and hopeless. Like, oh man, why even bother? It's not going to happen. There's divine guidance. There is straight up divine guidance that will help you with this. You don't have to control so much in your mind. There are a lot of things you might have to do, but if you just trust your instincts and your intuition, I guarantee you it will guide you step by step. And the problem is with the step by step is one step might be here, and then one step back here, and then you're jumping up. It's not linear at all. So you can't plan it out. But you just got to feel up ahead. What in your life right now, as an example, I bet I could help you with this right now, what in your life right now feels the heaviest? Just intuitively, what is the most out of place thing in your life? Maybe you've been avoiding it. Maybe you're afraid of it. What is it? That's step one. Deal with that. I was speaking to a woman just a few minutes ago, and she has this dream of hers, but she's a mother of 2 teenagers, and she's busy, and she's got a full-time job, and she was feeling this way, like, oh my God, I don't have the time. How's this going to happen? And I basically told her what I just told you all, and she said, yo, cool. You know what, man? I'm already kind of doing that, Vic, because for the longest time, I never took a lunch break, and now I'm taking a lunch break. And on that lunch break, I'm attending coaching sessions, I'm studying, I'm adding energy, adding a little bit of energy to this new awesomeness that I'm heading toward. And that's all you got to do. And for a while, that will probably get her by. Then there'll be something else. Oh, there's this thing you should stop doing, or there's this thing you should be doing, and it'll be kind of obvious. And as long as you just trust and do it, you might be surprised. Not only at how efficient it can be, but also how joyful it can be. You don't have to wait to get to the awesomeness to be happy now. I've told the story before, but there was a time when I wanted to live in San Diego. I was living in Michigan. I wanted the warmer weather, the beaches, etc. Thought it would be awesome. I wanted to be a YouTuber, not a gym owner, not a medical marijuana pot grower. And I just wanted this totally different reality, basically, is what I wanted. And I was going through all this. I was looking around and thinking like, man, there's so much to do. I don't even know where to begin. And one of the things at that time for me was I knew I needed to sell my house. But even selling a house, I have kids, there's so much stuff to go through, so many little annoying things to do associated with just one part of the journey, selling the house. And I found myself getting all overwhelmed by this, and then I said, you know what, screw it. One step at a time. And I looked down, and what was staring at me was this drawer in our kitchen that we called the miscellaneous drawer. The miscellaneous drawer, you probably have one yourself, where there's random stuff you throw in there. Maybe it's a closet or a basement for you with things that have value, maybe sentimental value, maybe actual value. You don't want to throw it away, but there's no other place for it, so it accumulates in the miscellaneous drawer. I knew that drawer alone would take me 3 hours just to sort through and whatever, clear out. Okay, I said, screw it. I made a little cup of Keurig coffee at the time. I put on some rock and roll, and I said, let's bust into this drawer. And the second I opened that drawer and began this arduous, mundane process of decluttering my miscellaneous drawer, you know what happened? I felt good. I felt happy. I felt connected because I was finally walking my path. I wasn't getting overwhelmed by my thoughts on the idea of walking my path. I was just walking it. And even though it was not a fun or particularly scenic part of the path, it's my path. And because I was walking it, I felt awesome. I was tapped in. That's like this thread, this tunnel you get to travel from where you are now and where you want to go. It doesn't have to be, it might take time, and it might be on paper, some stuff you don't want to do, but your frequency, your feeling, your state of being can be awesome. You can enjoy the journey. Another thing I had to do a long time ago was break down my medical marijuana grow operation, which built out my entire basement. My entire basement was a big grow operation, basically. I had probably 20, 30, 40, 50 plants, the whole thing. There was not a single normal basement thing there, all plants, all 2x4s, and a whole thing. It took me months to build. And I knew I have to break all that down. And I had been neglecting it, so it was gross. The plants were moldy, and there were spiders. It was this disgusting thing. But you know what I did? I went down there and put a little bit of time in each and every day. I listened to an amazing audiobook that was very synchronistic. This divine guidance was kicking in for me big time. It was this book called Mastery by Robert Greene, and it was just talking about the exact journey I was finding myself on. So I looked forward to going down and breaking down my old life because it was connected to my path. You don't have to get to where you think you need to get to be happy, to feel whole, to feel complete, to have fun, to be in joy. You just have to start walking your path, my friend. And if there's nothing else you get from this full moon, you know where you want to go, but only you can take that first step.